Who's this suspicious character strapped with the sounds profound? Similar to rounds spit by derringers. You're in the terror dome like my man Chuck D said. It's time to dethrone you clones and all you knuckleheads. Cause MCs have used up extended warranties, while real MCs and DJs are a minority. But right about now I use my authority, cause I'm like the wizard and you look lost like Dorothy.
Starr were a hip-hop duo out of Houston, and they were rapper Guru and his producer DJ Premier. There were some complications at the start, but that's the core of who they were. They existed from 1986 to 2003, and there was a 2019 reunion, and they have released 7 albums. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the 5th studio album by Starr, and it's my first encounter with them, so obviously that means I haven't heard this album before, or not knowingly anyway. This is hip-hop with rap, so we're into a world that is not my world. Here I have reviewed quite a few rap albums now. I'm starting to get a kind of, I'm not sure if I'm getting a really good feeling and knowledge of the area of hip-hop and rap, but I feel like I've managed to produce a kind of process to go through, or for things to think about when I'm reviewing that. So I will go through this and talk through what I've got. So starting with the backing, so we've got beats and samples with rapping over the top. Occasionally extra samples and speech at the starts of tracks. It's not quite got vignettes like some hip-hop albums have, but it does have this kind of, have bits that kind of set things up. The beats, generally okay. So sometimes I find the beats irritating. Sometimes I really enjoy them. I've got a groove. And sometimes, like this, it's not the best, but it's far from the worst. So it's somewhere in the middle. It's generally got a kind of slowish walking pace to it, which is a decent pace, I think. It's okay. I didn't find myself kind of bopping my head very much to this album. It's more towards the start of the album, I think. The backing is, I think, all samples, and it's done by looping them. This is quite a standard thing, but so when you're doing this, how much I like that will depend on how much I like the music that's been sampled. It's sometimes reasonable, sometimes not particularly bothered. I feel like there's a tendency to take shorter sections than some albums do, and to repeat them a lot, and there's less variation in terms of taking stuff out and bringing stuff back in. They kind of set it up and leave it going, and then you get the rapping, and then again, there might be something changing towards the end. So sometimes some of them get a bit wearing. There's especially if they're bits that have got a bit of tune that attracts attention. When you've got that for like 30th, 40th time, it's starting to get a little bit on my nerves, more than a little bit at times. So his voice, this is Guru, who's rapping. It's actually quite a nice voice for rapping. It's got a slight burr to it. I'm starting to use this word burr. It's kind of not gravelly, but it's slightly down that direction. And it kind of feels like a bit kind of element of smiliness to it. And flow, I'm going to talk about flow, even though, as I say, it's not my area, so I know no technical terms for different types of flow, but it's fairly laid back. So both those things, the voice and the flow, are reasonably okay. So far, we've got some stuff that's and this repetition thing. There's subject matter. So I find that this is often very important to me for hip hop albums, and so I will kind of throw in a comment that actually one thing I have been impressed at hip hop by is that it doesn't just do fluff in terms of content. There is usually a lot of point to it and things that they want to say. So, take note, the rest of the world. However, sometimes it's not great. So there are 3 things that are dominating the subject matter here. 1, I have mad skills as a rapper, and you don't. And sometimes there's some quite kind of aggressive language that goes with that. It's kind of feels like it's not just I'm doing well. It's like I'm going to hit you with it. I'm going to, things that kind of imply a certain level of violence behind his rapping and the way that is attacking the opposition. Uh, Number two, stuff about life, things about people getting shot, things about being arrested, kind of gangster light. It's not kind of full on gangster like something like NWA, I think. And the third one is God stuff, some of which is fairly obviously Muslim, but I don't think all of it is. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting addition to an album like this, I would say. The language is pretty ripe. There's quite a lot of bad wordage in it. And as is often the case with hip hop, use of two particular words that as a white man I feel very uncomfortable about using, so I won't. Um, so there's occasionally bits in the album that I enjoyed the feel of, and I think particularly the first two tracks. However, the language, the repetition of samples, the boastfulness, and the 78 plus minutes of length of the album were the worst things. So there's quite a lot of irritation going on here, a bit like a piece of sand under the eyelid at times. So overall, not happy. So let's move on. Next, actually, just to do the thing that I always do, which is to invite you to tell me what you think of this album, especially if you love it, because I've obviously not been impressed. Let me know why I'm wrong. If you agree with me, that's good. Also, feel free to express that. If you absolutely hate it more than I do, tell me why. In fact, it's not just telling me, it's telling the world. Express your opinion. And do that by leaving me a comment. That's it from me for now.
One of the meanest and the cleanest, and still I'm kinda fiendish when I'm at this. Been doing this for eons. Peons best to catch this vision of excellence, precise rapping ability. About to make some dead presidents, macking a million G. The money though, it's got people acting funny, yo. As soon as some get some light, they be like dummies, yo. Products and puppets and pawns getting played out.